Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beauty for Ashes, that program that is exclusively designed to uplift your spirits, and not just your spirits, to give you a whole new outlook on life, or the totality of your life, and of course, to enrich it greatly. My name is Jennifer, and welcome to the show. All right, let's take a quick break. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back from that break, and it's straight on to today's episode. Of course, through the course of this program, we have had contact with a lot of individuals, especially those whose downtrodden moments uplifted them, and they've been able to use those times to make positive impact on the lives of others. Today is no exception. We've got somebody with a whole new twist to the stories, and I would like to introduce to you Tony Okolawo. Hello, Tony, and welcome to Beauty for Ashes.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. All right, I'll give you a brief intro about Tony. Tony used to be a student activist. He's still an activist, but it started from way back when he was a student, and he had a couple of experiences that has shaped his life to what he is presently and what he uses it to do for others. So it's best to hear from Tony. So Tony, your story.
I'm Okolawo Tony. Many people know me as Comrade Okla Gogo, or simply Comrade Okla. And before now, as little as age 4, I realized I happened to be one of those living with sickle cell disorder, and called warrior. So every day of my life, I live as a warrior. You don't think about tomorrow or decide for tomorrow. So that happened. I've been living with that, though people actually don't believe me whenever I tell them that this is who I am. And also, there was this particular day. I've been an activist, and we were in school during the MK Abiola rally, 1998.
Okay.
So the student union had a peaceful rally.
Okay.
So which the police were aware. They joined. There was a banner to that effect, peaceful rally, and there was a procession of 21,001 students at that time.
Wow, that's
so it was a very huge student peaceful protest. But suddenly, this police that led the rally turned back at us and opened fire. So I was one of those that was shot. Some died, some amputated. So even in my pool of blood, because as at that moment, my thigh was like the stomach of my size because of the AK-47 bullets that caused cavitation and kinetic energy discharge, and that bullet travels 1,000 kilometers per second. So there was high damage. So I was taken to the divisional headquarters then in Ile-Ife, More. So where I was behind the counter.
And you were bleeding profusely at
me.
this time.
I was even there for like 6 hours before I was taken to the OAU teaching hospital. Afemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital Complex, so ATAC, and students came around, they donated blood, you know, the victims were attended to, and I was there. I had a series of surgery, from fasciotomy, the open of debridement wound, secondary suture, skin grafting, allegation of Achilles tendon, and
to sum it all, you were badly hit.
Yes.
Okay.
I also had follow-up surgeries. I've had like 10 surgeries.
Wow.
But that did not deter me from the activism, and till date, presently, I've also served as secretary and also convener of the Human Rights and Justice Work Group that's under the Lagos State Control Agency, where we have NGOs gather together, being part of the advisory and implementation body meetings, give advice, and I also handle cases of stigma and discrimination for people living with HIV in Lagos State. So I metamorphosized and also, have my team, and I don't like people being cheated. I don't. So
Obviously.
most time I even spend my money. So with that, presently I am the head of rescue and case manager for Advocate for Children and Vulnerable Persons Network, which we're in every local government, LCDs in Lagos and other states of the Federation in Nigeria. And we also have good collaboration with other, I can say, key partners where we leverage on each other's strengths.
Okay.
The social workers, the police, the army, other NGOs,
And
individuals,
agencies,
professionals, you get it. So any form of rape, defilement, on that is a no-no.
Okay.
And there is no forgiveness
Forgiveness
on that. And
All
if
right.
you are an enforcement of law, you are also trying to pervert justice, to truncate the path to justice.
Yes.
Then we call you out. We make you more popular.
All right. Okay. Now, two major things you spoke about, and I'm sure those two things are resounding on people's minds. You mentioned that you were born with the sickle cell gene, and you also talked about your shooting. Thankfully, thank God it wasn't fatal. Probably we wouldn't be here having this conversation. Now, as someone who was born with the sickle cell gene, how were you able, to still integrate yourself into so much activism and, because the usual, story is somebody who has that gene can't do a lot of physical activity. You get easily exerted. 1998 has been a pretty long time. You're still here. I mean, there are even years that are linked to how long someone who has the gene can live. But you're here. 98 was about 30, close to 30 years or thereabout, or almost 30 years. So, and also at the time you got shot, what went through your mind at that moment? I'm told people, when they have those near-death experiences, you make some kind of conscious decisions, like maybe if I get out, I'll do this and do that. So just tell us how.
I'll say it has to do with mind and dedication. My kind of person, I'm a very rugged fellow. I don't give up. Sincerely, even sometimes when you are down and you feel like, no, you just keep pushing. Even people you are even fighting for, helping, they will castigate you.
Wow.
I was a community leader in Shomolu. I was the secretary of a city, pioneer secretary for that matter. And
Chemulu in Lagos.
in Lagos. I sat for 12 years in the community.
Wow.
And I know my impact. There are a lot of things I do on pro bono. After I left, what I've been doing for them, just like fun and other, some other person wanted to do it and said they should bring 45,000 naira. So that is me. I don't look back. Even there was a time I was down, I had severe malaria. The moment I got a call that there was a case somewhere, something happened, bam.
You were on the
Jumped out
move.
of-
All right,
that-
you really have a lot to tell us, but we'll hold that thought there. Let's just go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Beauty for Ashes. I'm still Jennifer here with you on the program, and I still have with me Comrade Okla. I'll just shorten it to Comrade Okla. Toyin Okala, an amazing man who has had quite a number of challenges, but he doesn't seem undefeated with it all. So we'll go back to Toyin and his story. All right, welcome back from that break. And you were telling us about your indefatigable, attitude, your character. You've been sick, you go on the go, and despite your health challenges, some other persons who maybe have that kind of gene might say, oh, I'm not cut out for that kind of life, I need to rest and everything gets done for me. So you said you've always had this fighting spirit. So can you just tell us more about it? Maybe there's somebody out there who really needs to learn and hear about this.
Yes, my ideology is so different, and sometimes when I'm even being heard on the radio, I get back to the community and say, this thing you are doing, some people, they don't like you doing that. Some will even ask, are they even giving you something? Well, there was a day someone said, thank God you are here. We're just talking about you. If we could have 5 of you in this community, we'll have a very firm. I said, that's good. You and me, we are 3. Let's get 2 more persons. They say, no. So some people are not ready to pay the price.
Yeah.
And they are not ready to make that sacrifice. Being with the health issue, I don't compete.
Okay.
I know my limitations. Sometimes I work from home through my phone. If there is a case somewhere, an officer is trying to pervert whatever, I know who to call, I know where to post it, and believe me, it will get justice.
Yes.
If need be, I have to get to the station. That is just it. And we have very good and fantastic officers, sincerely.
Yeah.
Only that, even in every profession,
there's always a bad egg. Yes.
So that is just it, and they are really giving us the support. Can attest to that. There was a time I was on admission at the teaching hospital, and when I had this severe malaria, my blood sample was collected and they took it to lab, and when they brought it, they were like, no, it can't be. They should take another blood sample, and when they returned, my consultant said, take it, stay in the lab, make sure they do it in your presence, and you return. Still same result. My consultant said, this guy is too active to be an SS.
Yeah.
So that is just it. I can say maybe I'm one of the lucky ones. If not for the gunshot injury, I wouldn't have been limping. But there are some peculiarities to the disorder.
Yes.
That maybe they have some hip issues or something like that. Though I do use glasses.
Yes.
My dog have destroyed that.
That dog, yes.
So, but you know, once you have to take a lot of water.
Okay.
A lot of water.
To help you hydrate,
yes. The martinis, folic acid, because you just look at it, it's very smooth. I have what it is.
Okay.
Sometimes too, I was just like, it's just God. I can just put it that way.
Basically.
So I'm not someone that, until when I'm really down, now like,
take your medicine. So a word of advice to any of you who've got the SSG, and do take your routine drugs and keep yourself well hydrated. And of course, like you said, it's all about God. It's not on our strength. We can rely on, basically, God does it all for us. Yes. So now about your activism right now. You've gone past the school stage, 98. For some people, that's a lifetime away. But right now, you're advocating for, people who've got problems, especially when it comes to social injustices. Do you also reach out or make efforts to reach out to people? We have a lot of people who live with the sickle cell disorder. So do you have any outreach that covers that?
Yes, I network with organizations. When you leverage on other people's strength, things work better for you.
Yeah.
There is a network in that angle that I belong to. So there is this medical outreach that has been organized, sensitization by SAMI, Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative, founded by Toyin Adeshola. So she's doing great, and HMOs for some people.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes,
that's
and
wonderful.
Free medical care on monthly basis.
Wow, that's really great.
So then when the young ones are about resuming schools, they are being given back, they kit them up and so on like that. So people contribute and she supports.
That's really lovely. That's really lovely. You know, in our society, a lot of people, like you said, you also do a lot of advocacy for people who are stigmatized against. You mentioned issues of rape, you know, how it is in our society.
Yes.
Someone saying maybe he was a rapist, or maybe a woman saying she was raped. On both ways, they would always be stigmatized. You also talked about working with people living with HIV. They do get a lot of that stigmatization. Now, also, I'm focusing on your health. People living with the sickle cell disorder. In our society, a lot of people publicly come out to say, don't marry someone who's got a sickle cell gene. You will put the future of your unborn children in jeopardy. You are going to marry trouble. You are going to, you know, get into financial crisis, emotional crisis. How do you deal with this, and how have you been able to speak against these stigmas?
Yes, through programs, media, some publications. There is a sickle cell journal as well. So through those mediums, we'll be able to reach out, and I found it to comprehend with some people that are so-called educated, and they will still want to go ahead, and they are even in the world. Nigeria has the highest number of sickle cell people living with sickle cell disorder, and the government also needs to help. The government is like you know, sharing away from
shying away from their responsibilities.
The sickle cell disorder is like someone being born with HIV. That is mother to child.
Yes.
You get it. It's now being prevented. But for sickle cell, there is no remedy yet on that. So the government needs to support anyone with sickle cell disorder should have access to free medical care. Sincerely, the medications, and some are just, you know,
routine drugs,
drugs, and they are just lucky. Maybe someone like me, so to say, though I still have my health issue, my gunshot, whatever. I'm even spending more on my
old injury
than the sickle cell disorder. So that is just it. Government should come up and assist. There is a bill to that effect.
Okay.
It is in Nigeria. You will see volume of laws being enacted, just like Oxford Dictionary, but they will still put it aside. After being passed into law, they'll put it in the cooler. No implementation at all. People with HIV/AIDS, sometimes, you know, they used to be short of drugs. If not for funders, international organizations, this is your car. If a foreigner is at the wheel, you are the owner of the car, you are at the boot.
Oh, wow.
So it has to do with our government. They should change the narrative and make sure, even in cases of the so-called gender-based violence, rape and defilement, the justice process should be
more
fast-tracked.
proactive. Yes.
The case of one celebrity like that was fast-tracked because it's a celebrity.
Yes.
There are lots. We have lots of cases, 3 years, 4 years.
Still awaiting trials.
You get it? So the government just needs to do more.
Okay.
They should wake up from their slumber, sincerely, and stop voting unnecessary money for wardrobe allowances and then tire allowances.
All right.
They should focus on the citizen.
All right, that's the activist in him speaking now. All right, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, and we're still with Comrade Okalamotoye, the great activist, the man who's meant to be down, but he's got the fearless approach of a lion. All right, and back to him, Comrade Tony. Welcome back once again.
Thank you.
All right. So, you have been speaking so passionately, and passion is one of the things that God uses to bless his children. So obviously, all your strengths apparently are blessings from God, and it's great. You're using it to impact on other people's lives. So you spoke about, the government about people trying to sponsor bills for the government to get more involved in, health, helping people with health challenges and all that. That is very good and very true. But we don't know how many of these bills, get to be enacted into proper laws and people live with them. But we know with the kind of thing you do, definitely there will be a breakthrough soon. Now, is there any particular case you have handled that has maybe brought tears to your eyes or made you say, I love what I'm doing, and because of this case, it's going to propel me to do more?
Yes, there are lots of cases, so to say. I've handled the case of a 5-year-old girl somewhere around Bariga, where a so-called Yahoo boy defied the girl and used white handkerchief to clean himself up. The girl's mother was selling rice, a kind of mama put in front of the house, and someone discovered the girl, and she mentioned Uncle so and so. The case was transferred, the guy was arrested and taken to the station. Imagine the so-called IPO, a woman, and she has bargained to collect 250,000 naira, while they promised the mother of the girl 15,000 naira. You don't pervert justice. You sweep such case under the carpet. So I got the IPO. They know me. Once I get even if I go to some stations for something else, they will say, have they done it again? So she tactically asked me to go out, and before you know it, I posted. I even saw a police officer in camo vest.
Okay, camo.
I was surprised. I had to demand for his ID card. I said, you should know CP's disposition on cases like this. It's not done. We had to broadcast it, and thank God it went to court.
Oh, wow.
And we've had, between last year November and now, we've had 6 convictions. So even we've had cases of pastor, alpha, high-profile people
in the society.
Yes, so it's happening, and it's not that everything they are doing is kind of diabolic. Some people believe they are using it for diabolic means. No. Some of them have been abused. They were not worked on. So they now become an abuser. It happens like that. So that's why for me, we don't have a survivor yet.
Okay.
They are victims. Because it is when that happened and the person is being worked up clinically and being reintegrated, then the person can now come out and say,
I'm a survivor.
The good side of the story, and say, yeah, so this person has passed through the chain, and that person can be called a survivor. But for now, they are victims because after going to court, the government does not even want to know how far they have gone. Are they being supported?
No social reforms on that.
And the justice system is slow.
All right. But like you said, you made some great records, 6 convictions in a year. That's quite a high number, considering the backlog of cases in our courts.
In police stations, we have the OC Human Rights, specifically family support units. They are designated officers. If you have such issue, just don't go to the counter. Tell them you are going to the JWC or FSU. Once the officers are well trained, they know what to do sincerely, and they will do it. And for me as a person, there was a time I had a case, and the IPO I already broadcasted a bad deed then, and she was designated for this new case. One was food dragging. I was like, what kind of thing is this? You need to be proactive, because if you don't put the right peg in the right hole, the perpetrator, so-called suspect, sometimes might run away. And that's what necessitated me to even join the Vigilante Group of Nigeria in using community resources to solve community problems.
Oh, wow. That's
so by that,
another
as
plus.
An officer, and by God's grace, I'm also a media person for the Vigilante Group of Nigeria.
Wow.
So with that, if you are being reported, you get nabbed, and we take you to the station.
Wow.
And from there, you start your journey to the correctional center.
All right, that's very good. It's your activism spreads and cuts across everywhere, so that's another plus. Being a member, and of course, the spokesperson for the VGN Vigilante Group of Nigeria. All right, before I let you go, we spoke about stigmatization. Now, you said. People advise you. You've got the AES gene. You've got the AES. Don't marry such a person, or two people with the SS gene. Don't even get involved.
Yes.
But don't you think that's a stigmatization on the highest level? Don't you think people are free to make choices, probably exert, push their faith? Whatever they believe in, and decide that I don't think you have the right to tell me who I should partner with. Maybe my faith in God, or what I do, my exercises, my drugs, and all that.
With sickle cell, that faith doesn't work. It doesn't go there because by the time you, as someone with sickle cell, when you are having your pain, have you ever been to Owode Onirin before?
Yes.
You see them beating iron, eating. The pain is even more than that.
Wow.
Because by the time you have those pains and your joints, sometimes it will leave your arm, come to the chest. There is what we call acute chest syndrome. This one will try shorten your breath. It's serious. I've had that once. There are some people, they are SS. When it rains, they don't go to work. When they are at work, it rains, they come back home to come and fall sick. So there are peculiarities, depends on it. And I've seen someone that he used to gym.
And he's an SS.
Yes, if you see the boy, the guy, he's fit, he has
That's
fats.
his extreme.
Some cannot carry that kind of dumbbell and so on like that. Some, you just do your routine exercise, you jog and so on. So if you say you are SS, you have that faith, you want to go and marry SS or AS, then you will carry the cross. Sincerely, it's just a reality.
Okay.
There is no two way to it, but follow the procedure. This love, when by the time you have that newborn and the newborn gets grown and starts having issues and some other things like that, the Lord will fade away. It will have drained your pockets. You will have spent lots of money.
That's the reality.
In that process, you may even not have such a child. You get it. It destabilizes your work, your everything. So it's better if you are SS. Take your time. That's why you see some SS that got married late.
Okay.
Get someone, a reasonable AA, that will empathize with you and know your condition. Will also be able to give you the support, probably when you are down.
All right.
That is just the fact.
Oh, wow. It's been so lovely having this session with you. And through it all, you don't even look tired. Wow. I don't know how you do it. So he says. All right. Any last words before I let you go?
Yes. Be your real self. Like I used to say, that the natural physiognomy of a man is not directly proportional to his brain.
Okay.
So it's not by stature.
That's well put, if I must say. All right, thank you for being with us on this episode of Our Beautiful Ashes. And don't forget, you can always follow this program on all our social media handles at Divine TV. That's the apostrophe VINE. Yeah, we are on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe, like, and share, and do all that across our social media handles. And don't forget that at Divine TV, we're always here to propagate the gospel of Christ to enrich souls, and like we say, we enrich souls through the gospel of Christ. That is what we do here. All right, until I come your way again, do have a lovely time, and thank God for everything. Be blessed. Bye now.